let's talk about this Jason Aldean song. Become a pretty hot button topic. Hello, my name is Jen. This is my Sound Off series, episode 4, I believe, where we talk about something from current events that are controversial. Forgive me for not having full eye contact the whole time. I worked 8 hours a day and now have a 5-hour drive, and so now is a good time to chat. I've seen some of the chatter about the song. It's Jason Aldean's Try That in a Small Town. So I was aware of the chatter and some of the criticism. Hadn't heard it yet, but I did listen to it, a few hours ago. Just listened to it once, and I did watch the video along with it. I recommend watching the video. Very powerful to go along with the song. Everybody's got their opinion of what they think about the song. I want to look at it from a different angle and want to ask the question, how does the song make you feel? Not here, but here. And I wasn't really thinking of looking at it that way when I listened to it, but as I was listening to it, I had some feelings. So I want to look at it from that perspective. And I think when you look at it that way, like there's not really a right or wrong answer. If you ask somebody, well, how does the song make you feel? You can't tell somebody, be like, no, you don't feel that way. So as I watched the video and listened to the song, it kind of took me back to the time frame, and I'm aging myself here a little bit, post 9/11. It was my freshman year in college when the 9/11 attacks happened. And as I listened to this song, it just took me back to that feeling of unity that we had after those attacks. And it was, post 9/11 was a horrible, painful time for the country. But at the same time, in a beautiful way, it was very unifying. And it's hard to explain, but if you remember back to that time, I think you had experienced that as well, whereas like political party lines almost didn't even exist. Like we were one, we were American, and we joined together and had zero tolerance for what had occurred. And you might be thinking, well, that's apples and oranges, like that was a national terrorist attack versus in Aldean's song, I think one of the lyrics was carjacking an old lady at a stoplight. But there's a sense of sides of good versus evil in each, where there's a unifying party that is going to stand up against anyone causing trouble or intending to cause harm to someone else. And it just kind of gives that zero tolerance warning of, try that in a small town and see what happens. So I think some of the criticism is like, oh, well, the song is inciting violence, or there's racist undertones. I didn't get that. And not to say someone can't feel that way. I think a lot of our life experiences determines like how we see things or how we internalize things. But that when listening to the song, I just felt like a sense of pride and being able to not only stand up for myself, but stand up for others. And post 9/11, when, America came together, and I think the big thing was to find, bin Laden. I don't recall anybody saying like, well, you're just being racist. It had nothing to do with that. It was, here is a person causing harm to others. Let's go get it. Like, this needs to be dealt with. So yeah, listening to that song, I felt a beautiful sense of community. I felt like, people had my back, have my back. So that's how I would answer the question of, how it made me feel. Now kind of switching over to the analytical. The title and the whole point of it is like, okay, well, the stuff that you're doing in the big cities, carjacking somebody at a red light, go ahead and try that in a small town. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, what makes the difference between doing that in a city and a small town? And it made me think of like, again, it all comes back to tolerance level, and it made me think of like a high school classroom. And you know, like when a substitute teacher comes in, like, oh, we're going to try to get away with whatever we can. But if you have like a really strict teacher, then you know better than to mess around because they mean business. You know, you're not going to try to get away with as much. And that's kind of how I was looking at it. It's like, yeah, it's in a small town. They got zero tolerance for your BS. But yeah, the criticism of the song really, I mean, I shouldn't say that it surprises me. Because really, like, nothing surprises me anymore. Well, I got people merging in. Beep, beep. Okay. Back to my slow lane. Yeah, so I mean, nothing surprises me anymore. But I just, to me, like I said, that song just has this beautiful sense of unity and togetherness and empowerment. And for people to be against that, I was like, what is wrong with, it's like, you don't want us to stand up against rioting, you don't want us to stand up against old ladies getting carjacked at a red light. Like, I don't understand the criticism here. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. How does the song make you feel?